Well, it looks like this had to be a two-parter because apparently where I was parked, the sun was beating down on my camera, and when my camera gets too hot, it automatically shuts off. So I had to move to another location in the shade. I've been at this place before too. Just a little snippet of where I was at before. Maybe I should put my sorry. Maybe I'll leave the car on so that the camera doesn't overheat. Where was that before? I don't know if you could see it in the background, but it was at the church that I got married in the first time. And now I am at a location that I have filmed at before, which is down in Wayzata. And it's like an old dilapidated abandoned building. And so I'm just sitting in the parking lot here. It says tenant parking only, but there's nobody the building doesn't exist. I mean, it exists, but there's nobody that works in the building. So I was told like last year that they were going to tear the building down, but it's clearly still here. I can show you here. Sorry about the bad camera work, but can you see that? Let's see. There's the building right there. You can see that kind of the top of it. It's been boarded up and that. And then the lake is out this way, but you can't really see the lake through the trees right now. And of course there's train tracks here too, so I hope that a train doesn't come by while I'm filming this. But I am in the shade, and I was able to reset the settings on it, so hopefully my camera doesn't turn off again. So this is part 2. So anyway, as I was saying, my mom doesn't really talk to me, because when I tried to call her after the fight with my dad, she didn't sound right. And I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, no, you need to talk to him. Goodbye. And she hung up on me. And I'm like, okay, as I was saying when the last video cut out, is that she hasn't reached out to me to try to get my side of the story. You know, what I said, if he even remembers what I said, when he went back inside, because 15 minutes after he blew up at me, he claimed that he didn't scream at me. But Sea-Dog and my mom were witness to that. And my mom was the one that told him, you know, after I left, he's like, well, where did she go? And my mom's like, well, she left because you yelled at her. And he's like, I didn't yell at her. She's like, yes, you did. And that was like within a couple of minutes after I left. So yes, he has dementia, but from what I understood at that time, he still was pretty lucid. It's still kind of at the beginning stages, maybe creeping into the middle stages of dementia, I don't know. But to me, that does not excuse his behavior, because he's been this way for years, very verbally abusive. And I really feel for my mom, because she has to live with it every day. So after this blow up, I contacted my sister, the one that is my oldest sister, that's, you know, giving me the information about the genealogy stuff. And I said, I think we really need to get him away from mom and get him into the memory care part of the apartment that he's in. And she's like, it's more complicated than that. And I'm like, how can that be more complicated? You'd rather keep mom in an abusive relationship every day? That doesn't make any sense to me. I've lived it. So that still concerns me. But since then, she had been in the hospital for what I don't remember, because she's been in and out of the hospital for so many different things over the last couple of years. But Sharon has been keeping me updated about that. And I asked her to ask my mom if it's okay that I contact her. So my mom gave her the go-ahead. So I called my mom when she was in the hospital. And we had a little conversation. We've never really talked about what happened that day in May. And that kind of hurts because I really want to give her my side of the story and my concerns for her safety. Not that I've ever seen my dad be physically abusive with her, but he does scream a lot around her and likely at her. And she doesn't deserve that. So I have talked to her since that time, maybe 3 times since then. But our conversations are only a couple of minutes, and they're very tense conversations. It's not like lighthearted like we used to have. So I really miss my mom. I miss being able to talk to her. Please tell me you're not going to kick me out. The car was driving really slow. I mean, there are other people that are here, so I'm guessing maybe other people are doing different things here. I don't know. Anyway, sorry to get distracted. Just saw in the rearview mirror that car was going really slow. I thought maybe they were going to kick me out, but maybe not. So anyway, the other part that I'm dealing with, which I have talked about in the last couple of videos, is just over a year ago, Silver Star and her Fey Wolf got married. And it was a very happy day. Of course, wedding planning is always stressful, no matter how well you think you do and how well you think you can handle the stress of wedding plans. And, we got to get things taken care of and loose ends tied up and everything the closer you get to the wedding to make it your perfect dream wedding. 3 months after the wedding, Silver Star decided she wasn't in love with her Fey Wolf anymore. That really confused me, because he's the best thing that has ever happened to her in a long time. And she even said that in her vows. And then for her to throw it all away in 3 months. She does spend a lot of time with another guy. I can't say for sure that this is a love interest of hers, although it does seem that way. But given the fact I don't know this kid, never met him, I know his name, I know different things about him through different people, including Silver Star. But it seems like now the marriage is over. Although no papers have been filed. And she and I had a very heated conversation the other day, or yesterday I should say, about her decision. And she's like, well, I just don't love him like that anymore. We can still stay friends. I'm like, he's still in love with you. You can't expect him to flip that switch as fast as you did. He still thinks there's a chance. But after this past week, I don't think there is. Now, let's keep in mind, in my opinion, I have never seen him do anything wrong. He did not cheat on her. He has never physically abused her. As with every relationship, they've probably had their arguments about one thing or another. But I do not witness that. He tends to close down when he gets upset or the stress gets to be too much for him. But this may sound cold and callous, but I do not support her. I support him in whatever decision he goes ahead with. She told me yesterday, in this very heated discussion we were having, more on my end than hers, that if and when I file for divorce, will you hate me forever? I said, first of all, you don't have the money to file for divorce. You act like you're not even married anymore. You took your ring off, but that does not end the marriage. So when I keep talking to her, I keep using the words, your husband, because that's something she just doesn't get. She is still married. I guess I have to lean forward in order for the light not to be darkening my face. My apologies for the bad camera work, the bad quality of this video. But she acts like she's already moving on. Matter of fact, I called her Taylor Swift the other day. The old Taylor Swift, when she would jump from one boyfriend to another. Silver Star cannot stand being by herself. She needs somebody to be in her life. She keeps claiming that she doesn't want the toxicity anymore, and she wants to find peace in her life. Fine. But you're the one that's creating the toxicity, Silver Star. And you are being a chicken shit for saying you expect your husband to tell his mother about your decision. That's not his job. You need to man up. Strap on a pair and have a conversation with his whole side of the family. That's all I'll say about that. So, I know I have talked in previous videos about something she said to somebody else about me. But I never said what that was. I have helped all of my children as best I can, financially, emotionally, being there for them as much as I possibly could, even when I didn't have custody, physical custody of them in their younger years. Their dad did. Decision I will regret the rest of my life. But I have been very supportive to all my kids. I don't have to agree with every choice they make. But for her to say the words, she can go F herself. Yeah. Stick that red hot knife deeper into my heart, will you please? Those are words that I will never forget. And just simply saying, I'm sorry, is not enough. Same thing I told my father. I will never accept his apology for being verbally abusive to me since the other abuse that I suffered from him, which ended when I was 19. Like 40 years ago. I'm done having people walk all over me and thinking that they can use me and then say stuff like that about me. Doesn't fly. Sorry. That's not how you were raised. And for her to say that I have barely supported her, okay, I don't support her decision to be a furry, because number one, I don't understand adults dressing up in animal costumes when they're not a mascot for a sports team and acting like little kids when they're in their 30s and 40s. I don't get that. And it's not just a once a year thing at a conference either. Like, Comic-Con, I understand people dress up as cartoon characters or, comic book characters or whatever. But they don't go out and do that all the time. When Silver Star is not at work, she wears a freaking dog collar. I cannot support that. You're 36 years old. It's time to grow up. So no, in that respect, no, I don't support that decision of your life. I'm not saying you can't be one. You're going to be what you're going to be because you're an adult. But I don't have to agree with everything you do. But for you to sit there, Silver Star, and tell me that I don't support you is BS. Who was there for you for the year that I spent helping you plan a beautiful wedding? Who was there to help you find a place to live, find a car when your car got trashed by somebody else and you got in that car accident, which was no fault of your own? Who was there to help you do homework? Who went to court with your dad to prevent him from taking you and your siblings down to either Alabama or Florida and prevent me from seeing you? If that's not support, then I don't know anything. So yeah, I am very, very hurt and very, very upset. Now, shifting the focus to Clary. Yep, I'm coming for you too. Once she met her husband, I was in her rearview mirror. She spends a lot of time with his side of the family. She is now expecting baby number 5. They recently bought a new house. Their decision to continue having children and for her not to work, and I'll get to that in a second, is something I don't understand. I rarely hear from her unless it has something to do with her and what she wants and needs. I'm finding Silver Star is starting to be like that as well. Clary, because I know you watch my videos too, you need to tell your husband to make a doctor's appointment for himself, to get the procedure done so that this will be your last child. The fact that you only have one income coming into a house, which you now have a mortgage, you now are responsible for all the utilities, taxes on the house, upkeep on the house, insurance on the house, as well as feeding soon to be 5 children, all under the age of 7, 2 for sure which have health issues, is irresponsible. Now, many people have told me, well, daycare costs a lot of money. I get that. But when I was married to their father, I didn't put my kids in daycare, and I only had 3 living children. What we did is their father worked full-time during the day while I stayed home and watched the kids. Then I had a part-time job at night. And if our schedules overlapped where he wasn't quite home yet and I had to go to work, say there was like an hour or 2 in between, we knew people in the neighborhood that would babysit the kids for an hour or 2. So at least the kids were close to home. They were people we knew and trusted, and the kids knew them. It wasn't a daycare. It was neighbors being helpful. Now I understand watching 4 children under the age of 7 can be difficult, but you need to do what you need to do in order to make things work. Financially, at the very least. So, to prevent yourself from getting pregnant a 6th time after you have this last child, he needs to go into a doctor's clinic and get that procedure done. He can be back to work the next day. He might have a weight restriction for a day or 2. I've done the research. But he needs to man up and do it. Because you guys can't keep affording to keep having more and more children. Especially in this day and age. Gas prices are up considerably again. But I hardly hear from Silver Star. I hardly hear from Clary unless they need something from me. Sea Dog does tend to call me quite frequently, usually when it's on his way to the store. Or he's watching a movie and he just wants to tell me that he's watching a movie and tell me a little bit about the movie, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm done talking to you, bye. And he's goofy, but even him, I'm noticing he's backing off on calling me too, as often. So I do feel very isolated. And I purposely don't reach out to them because, number one, I don't know their work schedule, Silver Star and Clary's, or Sea Dog's work schedule. But they know mine, even though they keep asking when I work. I'm tired of telling them my schedule, but I feel very isolated. And maybe I've done it to myself, I don't know. But as I've said in the past, people are not safe for me. Even at work sometimes. Keep getting hit on at work, and it's very uncomfortable and very unwanted. You've noticed I haven't been wearing the ring lately because when I was laid up for those 3 months, from December to March, I didn't really exercise much because it was very cold outside, and even though it was my arm that was the problem, not my feet, I didn't really do a lot of walking. So I gained like 10 pounds, 10, 15, 20 pounds over the winter, and I've lost about 10 since March because I've been cutting back on what I've been eating, which I'm sure you've kind of noticed a little bit of a change. I'm still trying to work on that. Not eating as much junk food anymore. Probably not intaking as much calories as I should in a day. But because of my work, I do exercise at work because I'm on my feet for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. But I don't know why I always have to be the one to reach out to other people. And even at work, I know I keep going back to this, but even at work, Silver Star and I used to work at the same place. I still work there, she does not. Even those people keep asking me about her. Hello. I'm the one that has had a lot of medical issues in the past 2 years. And yes, I live in pain, physical pain, every single day. It may not be debilitating. It may not be chronic. Maybe that's not the right usage of the word. But it may not be on a high scale of like 5 to 10. Sorry about the camera work. I keep trying to keep my focus on keeping my face lit up, but you'll just have to put up with it for this video. I'm sorry, because I'm not at home. But why are people asking about Silver Star and not about me? And I know that sounds selfish, but I'm tired of being ignored. I really am. As if I don't matter. Because I'm starting to think I don't. Even you guys, I keep asking you guys to comment on my videos, and only one person does. I do get a couple of likes. I do get a lot of views, which I appreciate. But maybe you're just watching a couple minutes of my videos, and that counts as a view. So maybe you're not watching my video all the way through. I don't know. That's why I keep asking, can you please comment on my videos? I don't even care if they're negative comments. Maybe you are giving negative comments and I have it set up. Maybe I have my YouTube channel set up where I don't get the negative comments, but it still doesn't show that I have more than one or maybe two comments. And sometimes the second comment is me commenting back to John. He's the only one that comments on my videos. If you leave a like, I don't know who you are that's leaving a like on my videos. It doesn't show me that. So anyway, I'm sorry this is kind of a downer couple of videos, but I'm tired of feeling alone. Even though most of it is my own doing, because after I leave work, I go home. Literally, this is what I do after I leave work. I go home and I get in my pajamas, put my things away, get in my pajamas, sit in bed and play Happy Color and watch YouTube videos until I fall asleep. That's my life, honestly, except for these videos. I forced myself out of the house today. Maybe that's depression. I mean, the SAD is starting to kick in. Thankfully, the leaves haven't started turning yet, but they're probably close to it, because I've been noticing the last couple of years it's usually around mid-August that I start seeing the leaves turn, which brings my mood down, because I do have SAD, which is seasonal depression. I have been diagnosed with it from a doctor. So winter is the worst time for me, and I'm in the wrong freaking state for it, but I can't afford to move out to California. And Amarillo offered me nothing. So I'm going to shut up now. But thank you for joining me for both of these videos. Sorry it had to be a two-parter, but it is what it is. So if you haven't seen part one, go watch part one first, and then watch this one, because it's a continuation. But I hope you guys all have a sunny day. I don't know what my day is going to be like, because I am off today. But I may try to get the form filled out for that, for the birth and death certificate for Charlene. I might be chasing, maybe it is Clarence, because I did notice that Charlene's birthday is exactly 1 year to the day from when Clarence was born. And she, according to my research, she died 6 days after he did. So I don't know if Clarence and Charlene are the same person, but then why did my dad say that he did have another sister, but he doesn't want to talk about her? I don't understand that. If she was involved in that wagon incident, why do we know about Clarence, but we don't know about Charlene? I really don't know the answer to that. I'm trying to get the answer to that. Maybe Clarence is Charlene, or Charlene is Clarence. I don't know. I'll keep you updated. But I will make another video regarding what I have found out, continuing with my family tree. It's not going to be a very long one, because I didn't find out a lot, but it's very shocking video, shocking information to me, what I did find out. And it's all from my paternal side of the family. So on my week off, I do plan on doing a little bit more research on both sides of the family as much as I can. More so on my mother's side because Chaska is a little bit closer. Chaska is a little bit closer for me than going up to central Minnesota, because that's more like an hour drive, whereas Chaska is like half an hour away. So I might be able to go back to the historical center and look in their files and see if I can find anything new on that side of the family. But I think a lot of the stuff I have to find for my father's side of the family, I'd have to go to Germany. Or not go there physically, but like write to them and say, can you give me some paperwork? And that costs a lot of money and that I don't have. So next year I hope to, once I get all these bills paid off, which I'm getting down there, I'm slowly whittling away at it. 2027, I plan to make a much better year. Maybe taking a trip internationally, hopefully, if I can save up the money. Maybe getting deeper into this family history stuff. I don't know. But as my battery has been at half-life and probably will go down another bar here really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and shut up at this point. But thank you for joining me today. Leave your comments, please. And we will see you guys on the next one. Have a sunny day.